Coach, what's going on? It's Coach Ian Tatum here, back with another Clinic Series video. And today I have Coach Chase Farris, who is the offensive line coach at Rose-Hulman in Indiana. Coach, I really appreciate you coming on and talking a little bit of offensive line play with us.
Yeah, for sure, man. I really appreciate it. Obviously I'm the offensive line coach, but actually I'm going to talk about one of our, kind of quick game concepts that we run.
Okay.
Obviously I tune into your channel quite often, so I know probably a lot of high school coaches out there and that are watching this, and this has been a concept for us. It's been really good, and I think something that could really translate really well to the high school level, regardless of what type of quarterback, O-line play, whatever you got. So it's something I don't see a lot of people present on, so that's why I don't want to be another O-line coach up here talking about inside zone. You know what I mean? So hopefully I can share some good information tonight.
Awesome, Coach. Well, yeah, love it. I'm pulling you up right here. You're good to go. I'm going to back out, and you got it.
Appreciate it, Coach. So my name's Chase Farris. I'm the offensive line coach here at Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology. We are located in Terre Haute, Indiana. I'll get a little bit more about us here in a second, but I'm going to be talking about our HOP concept. So it's a, kind of a quick game, pass option patch. So we'll talk pass option pass play that we'll talk about here, obviously in depth. But it's been a great play for us. It's really good. For I think something that, like I said, could go really well at the high school level too. That you don't have to have really a super strong quarterback arm and maybe even necessarily a great offensive line to do it. So we'll just get right into it. Sweet. So obviously the stuff I'll cover a little bit about my background, about Rose-Hulman, and then obviously our HOP concept. Give a little information about the numbers, the efficiency and stuff like that, install them, and then some of the adjustments off of it. So a little bit about me. I've been at Rose-Hulman since the spring of 2023, where I've been the offensive line coach. My primary recruiting areas have been Central Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, and obviously the Northeast coast. Recruiting that, we recruit nationally, so we have 27 different states on our roster. So if you find anyone that is a engineer, shoot them our way. We'd love to know more about them and be able to recruit them. Prior to that, I spent 1 year at Anderson University in Anderson, Indiana. So not to be confused with the Anderson in South Carolina, where I was the run game coordinator and offensive line coach there for a year. And then, not too long ago, I was playing college football. So I played at Center College in Danville, Kentucky, a Division III school, where I played for 3 years. And I was able to, get a little bit of a head start. My last semester there, I was student coach, helping coach spring practice and just, learning as much stuff as I can before I got an opportunity to obviously go to Anderson for a year. And then obviously I got the opportunity here at Rose where I've enjoyed and worked with some great kids. So about Rose-Hulman, we are an all STEM school, but our bread and butter is engineering and computer science. We've been voted the nation's #1 undergraduate engineering school for 26 straight years. So that's what we focus in. That's what we're really good at. Whenever we get some new coaches here, people talk about it. Sometimes they complain because all we recruit is engineers, but it's great in that sense because you know what you're looking for. You have a product that is worthwhile, and that the recruiting, you're only going to battle against the same schools, right? So everyone has those business kids that have a lot of great options to go to. If there's really a kid that's passionate about playing college football and getting a high level engineering degree, we're one of maybe 10 schools in the country that they really can achieve that. So we're located in Terre Haute. We're right down the road from Indiana State. So obviously Indiana State, most famously known for Larry Bird. And then obviously they've had a lot of success recently in basketball again. So, we're in a college town, about almost 60,000 people. And then obviously we're near a lot of major metropolitan cities, right? So we're about an hour outside of Indianapolis. So it makes those kids that are from further away flying in really simple to, real simple commute from the airport. But also if guys want to have an opportunity to do internships or whatever it might be, co-ops, right? We're really near. So it's not a terrible commute for, guys traveling in or people from these areas. So we've been very fortunate too. We've won 13 conference championships over it, most recently being the 2021 season was the most recent one. So we've been close. We've been, competing for that the last 3 years, coming really close, but, just not there yet and just, pushing forward to get there. But that's a little bit about Rose. Obviously, if you got any questions or anything, obviously my contact information will be up at the end and so forth, right? But obviously just here, biggest thing is we require biology, chemistry, physics, and 4 years of math. to be admitted to Rose-Hulman. So just obviously, if you got a guy, just make sure they, we can help them meet those requirements before they get here and stuff. So sweet. So hops, right? So what is our hop concept? So this is a pass option pass is the best way we describe it. It's pretty much we have, we tag boundary one. They have a yes, no answer, the quarterback. If he doesn't like it, he'll spin out and roll to the field concept that we tag. So we tag a lot of our day one install 2x2 stuff to it, or other just 2x2 concepts. So the learning of it, it's pretty simple for the quarterback and the receivers, that they're not learning a whole new concept. They're just learning a part to it. So we like to live in the bucket world of everything kind of playing off of each other here. So just because we have a lot of smart kids, but we don't necessarily have as much time per se as other maybe college programs, since we maybe get about an hour and a half, 2 hours with their guys in general from meetings and practice and all that stuff. So we can't really have a lot of different things. So we got to play into it, right? But the biggest pros of it is an easy read for the quarterback, and it's an easy protection for the offensive line, because it's a 6-man can turn into 7-man protection full slide. But it's a quick game concept, move the pocket. So yeah, so that's just a little bit of it and kind of the genesis of it. By the numbers, right? So we called it 23 times in the 2024 season. We were 57% efficient. So efficiency for us on first down, 4 more yards, on second down, half the distance, third and fourth down, get it. So this is a great play for us to call on first and second down, to stay on schedule. So, of the 23 times we called it, 13 of the plays, we got 5 or more yards on it, right? So we're calling this on first and down, first and 10, really trying to get, second and 5, second and 4, so we can, still have our entire playbook and stuff. So we've been very efficient over these last 2 years, especially, calling it 31 total times in 2023 was a 61% efficiency, and 16 of those 31, so about half of them, right, being up 5 or more yards. So this play has been good for us, and obviously we'll talk about it a little bit more, right? So protection of it, we are a code word-based team here, so that's how the offensive line gets every play in our playbook, right? So they'll come up, they get set, the quarterback and receivers look to the sideline, quarterback looks at it, sees a signal, and then gives the corresponding code word to the offensive line. So this is a gap scheme protection. So we have a G letter word, and our O-line knows every G letter word, we go opposite the call. So whether we're running power, counter, duo, whatever it might be, if they just know if it's a G in it, we have our backside gap. So we like to talk to our tight ends and running backs a little bit more, because they have to learn a little bit more and things along those lines. So just making sure those two knuckleheads are always on the right page. So here is our simple 6-man here in this case. So the quarterback come up in this top left drawing, come up and tell the O-line glaze. They know we got slide protection. I got my inside gap, and so forth, right? So this is we can use this on our typical quick game if we wanted to full slide it that week for different looks or whatever it might be. But they just know I got my backside gap. I don't have to worry about it. If that guy crosses my face, I know I have help and stuff, right? So we want to utilize this and kind of have low hats to it, but it's not a end-all, be-all, right? We just want to make sure we have good gap sound protection, understanding that we don't need to chase back with guys looping and stuff. So this should be great against any stunts, any pressures, any of that stuff. We should be squared away in that regard, right? For if we get A gap pressure, B gap pressure, whatever it might be from the defense, we should be great, right? So quarterback comes up, says glaze. They know I got my gap to my right. Gravy, got my gap to my left, right? So pretty simple in that regard to it. Back, if tight end's in the protection, they know they got C gap, D gap, and so forth. Sweet. So this is how we do it, right? So this is our hop concept, kind of just how it's in our playbook, right? So as you can see, it's a weak hitch with the strong naked, right? So this allows us to have an easy yes/no answer to the boundary here. If we don't like it, the quarterback's on the move from there, reading whatever field concept we tag with it, right? So in this case, right, off of this, We signal in, hot peel right. Our boundary one receiver knows I'm running a 3-0 on my third outside step. I'm planting back and I'm coming back to catch this hitch, right? And so forth, right? And then the quarterback obviously knows he's going to obviously confirm yes or no if I want it. If he does not like it, he'll roll out and then obviously go whatever concept we call to it. And this here, right, on all of our stuff, we run this out of our three wing attached formation. So our tight end will be in that sniffer position here, and he'll slam flat here to it. If we get any edge pressure here, so if we get a Sam nickel coming off the edge here, our back will make an in call. The tight end will stay in protection and stay to it, and we'll be protected up, and that's where it becomes a 7-man thing. So we've actually talked about this offseason, just changing it where our back is going to just check release instead of our tight end, just so it's a little bit easier for that back sees that edge pressure. They don't have to communicate for another person to have to do it, right? So that was kind of something we were looking at it and talking about it, and it was kind of a light bulb went off, and like, why don't we just always have done this, right? So, but that's kind of the adjustment on the protection that we made potentially this offseason to it, but and so forth, right? So seeing kind of the full field concepts to it. So here on the left, hot peel, right? So this would be, we call in the formation, rake split, hot peel right. So quarterback knows it's to the right, so he's going to come up and give him a right code word, so gravy, gravy. He'll catch the snap, check. If he likes the hitch, he'll throw it, get our free 5 yards, move on, 2nd and 5. We're in a great situation. He doesn't like it. He's going to roll out, and here we are running our peel concept here, right? So our outside receivers and our inside receiver here are both going to run peels from 12 going to 12, peeling back to 10, and kind of their landmarks are they are owning the inside receiver is owning the hash to the logo line, so the distance between the hash and the numbers, and our outside receiver is owning the numbers to the red line, which is half the distance from the numbers out of bounds, right? So that is how we run it out of hot peel, right? And then obviously the quarterback looks yes, no to the boundary. If not, he's reading this outside in, checking it down to run, right? So that's the peel concept with it. Hopped out here, right? Same concept to the boundary, right? We're just running our hitch. Yes, no, throw it, get our free 5 yards, not roll out. Now we are going to run our kind of, our flood concept here, our tout day one install. So now we got our MOR, mandatory outside release by our outside receiver. And then we have our deep speed out at about 13 yards for that inside receiver, right? Off that third inside step, he's going to plan off and dig and get to it. And obviously we're reading this outside in, right? So we're reading fade, the deep out, the tight end to run for the quarterback. Sweet. Here's some to it, right? So here is a look at it, right? So here we're running it, and we have man coverage here to the boundary, right? Low red area. This is a situation where our quarterback, right, we give him freedom to it. And if you like your matchup, take it, right? So you can see here, our receiver, 1, 2, 3, plants, comes back, makes a good catch, gets going 1st and 8. We get the ball on the 3-yard line in a great situation here. And you can see the field we're running our peels. So those guys, obviously, being in the low red, they got to cut their routes down a little bit and so forth. But you see it one more time here, and then we'll watch the protection of it. Right, so we are gravy here. So left tackle has his C gap, left guard has his A or B gap, center has A, guard has A, tackle has B, tight end has C. He is going to replace the slam flat or stay in if we get edge pressure here. Right, we see here we get a little movement with it and a late pressure, but obviously we are good gap sound protection here, working our gaps. You can see the right guard here almost chases back, and then he's like, what am I doing with my life? I don't do that on gap protection. Comes back to it in a good situation, squares it up, so forth here. Same thing here. So we really love this concept, especially if we know we're playing a team that likes to play off coverage and gives us a lot of cushion here, right? So here's 3rd and 2. They're playing deep off here, right? So this is a player that maybe isn't playing with the greatest football awareness, right? Knowing that if it's a shorter situation, we might want to be ready for quick game. We might want to be ready for whatever. So he's playing really deep off. So we know quarterback likes it. Same deal. Pump it to the boundary receiver. Just throw the quick, easy hitch. Here you can see to the top, working our peel routes. Outside receiver getting 12, coming back to 10, working out to the red line, and so forth, right? So this is actually just looking at this. So from this previous one here, this left tackle here, it was a great story to just kind of talk about, not to get on much of a tangent, but he was an all-region offensive lineman in 2021, does ROTC here at Rose-Hulman. Lost a bunch of weight because of that, moved to tight end during the 23 season, and then obviously he moved back to offensive line in the 24 season. So we got to manipulate our personnel. So here he is, in this game. I believe this was week 5 or 6, playing left tackle for us. It was great for us all conference. Here he is, second to last week of the game, goes back to tight end for us to help us out whenever our starting tight end had a concussion. So we're very fortunate, but right, we got to make sure we got to put the best 11 people on the field at all situations. And if that's the case, having a tight end, offensive lineman, whatever it might be, we got to do that, right? So here's just quick protection, right? Got our gaps, got good eyes, working to it, real sound, really quick. Get the ball out and go. Here it is here. Same concept, right? Just one more here, looking at it, throwing just the quick hitch to it. Right. Really easy, just getting free access, taking what the defense is giving you, right? And moving on and getting into a good situation here. Right. Protection, same deal. Really simple, real sound. Really easy for the O-line and so forth. So obviously you saw a bunch of there of us throwing the boundary hitch. So here is against a 3-high team we see in our conference. So they like to do a bunch of different stuff to the boundary here. So you can see we call this here, thinking we got off, if they play like some form of just true cover 4 to the boundary, we're fine. They roll this, this boundary safety under and take it away. So obviously you've got to make sure if you get a lot of inverted coverage to the boundary that you're teaching your quarterback not to be greedy to it, right? So you see they got their safety rolling down. They got their will linebacker pushing out to take away that hitch. So the quarterback knows I got to get out of the pocket and throw our field concept. So here we're running our hop tout. So we have our MOR deep out. And then, getting to it, moving the pocket, right? So this really helps. If you maybe don't have the most sound protection, the one protection that, everyone talks about, if you don't have maybe the greatest O-line, sometimes it's sprint out. But I think this sometimes is a little bit more simple for it than sprint out protection, right? Because you still get all the benefits of sprint out, but you're protecting a little bit easier. So here's another one again against the same team. This is this year, throwing the peel concept, throwing it to the outside receiver, working 12 back to 10, reading it outside in, taking what we can from the defense. Really, really simple in that sense for the quarterback and for the O-line, like I keep harping on. Right, moving the pocket, get the quarterback on the move, make them feel secure, move the point so it helps it out. So here's a good clip to look at here. So this is senior day here, third to last game of the year. This is some of our reserves in, guys that are just, have an opportunity to get to play. Here's our receiver here, right? He probably should be getting pumped the rock here, playing off coverage and how these guys play it. But he is not doing exactly what he's been coached to do, right? So it's really important that on that third outside step, the timing of this, he's able to, really plant in the ground and get down to it so we can throw it to him, right? Obviously, we get a big explosive play, throwing it to the field concept. But just obviously making sure that everyone's secured in the details of it and so forth, right? right? But here is our second offensive line. You got a little bit of mixture of our second offensive line with some of our starters in. But you can see just if they do twist, they move, whatever the defense wants to throw at you, you should be gap sound and to it. And this is a situation here where, depending on what your tight end play is, right? If you'd like your tight end more than your running back to catch a football and get in the flat, right, whatever it might be, this is where you might just want to keep it where you slam flat with the tight end. This is a tight end that was also a converted offensive lineman versus a true running back, right? This would be where we're probably better that we're actually should just be checked flat into the flat with the running back, how we talked about it this offseason to clean it up and get our best, the best athlete we can, the ball. Well, sweet. So obviously those are like our generic hop plays that we do it, but we can tag whatever boundary concept, or not boundary concept, but boundary route we want. So to it, and then we have a couple other field concepts that we tag with it, right? So we have our hop, hitch, right? We have our slop, slant, we have our top, speed out, we have our stop shake, so we have our stop, and then we have our hop cow, which is our curl wheel concept to it, right? So you can see the top two here, right? Same field concept we've been talking about with our peels. Now we just have changed a slant or a speed out, right? So we like this sometimes against press coverage more so than the hitch, obviously, right? Because if we get press coverage against that hitch, teams will do if we start completing 2 or 3 of these against them. We'll just get right off the hitch and throw the field concept. Where our receivers can 3-0 lock, throw by that corner and get open. And still be available to catch that route, so we don't just cut off that half a field with this play. Same deal if we're playing a cover 3 team and they're bailing their corners, right? We can throw that and get in good windows and stuff like that. Stop shakes is a great play for us down on the goal line, so that our boundary receiver run his stop routes 7 back to 5 and to it, and then obviously if we don't like it, we got our shake routes. But this play primarily is a low red area play for us. And then the post wheel, the curl wheel, is a newer concept that we put in this year that we didn't really necessarily rep as much in game because the other versions of it were so good for us, right? They've been so good for us. But this just allows us to have another way to potentially get a big play off of it, right? So here is us running top peel, right? So now we have a speed out here from the boundary 1, right? So this allows us to, right? We like this against, cover 3, or if they start inverting this coverage over here, to try to rob that hitch, that we still have this route available here. So here's actually a special player for us from the state of North Carolina. He had his COVID year, right? So he could have came back here and played, but he graduated. And he was a 2-sport All-American for us, and now he is running track at NC State. So he was a special guy for us, computer engineer. Obviously, we miss him dearly, but he's obviously doing great things at NC State, furthering his athletic career. But you can see here right now we're just running off our third outside step, plan out, run our speed out, be available here, right, 1st and 10, gain of 6. We're on schedule, 2nd and 4, feel really good about it. Right here is us, same deal. Now we got press coverage here. If we ran our hitch, we wouldn't like it. We'd probably get off of it. Here we like to speed out for it, allow the quarterback to have freedom. Like your matchup to the boundary, take it, and so forth. If you don't, obviously you feel pretty good. And you can see here we feel pretty good. And the completion percentage of the field concepts coming open. Here's us running the slant. Right, so here we got press coverage on his 3rd outside step. 1-2, grab that elbow, throw him by with the inside hand, get back to the ball, catch it. Obviously, in this case, just a catch and fall. But obviously, we're in a good situation to get a completion, move the chains on 3rd and 5 here, and keep moving. right? Another one to it. So this is from the 2021 season, or forgive me, the 2022 season. So this is before my time here at Rose-Hulman, but here this was a case where they had a really great boundary receiver here named Adam Taiseliu was his name. Really, really special kid, really, really cool situation, from the stories I've heard about him. But here was a situation where this year they felt really good about their boundary receiver here, and they felt really good about their quarterback, where they said, hey, they want to play press coverage, cool. We'll run a fade here. And it's just as simple as that. So we have that tag. I forgot to mention it and put it in there, but it's just flop, fade. So we could call flop. This is essentially what turned into flop tout here because it's naturally just converts. But obviously I understand I'm not going to be ignorant here and act like this is an X and O play. This is simply, the generic clinic talk of this is my guy's better than your guy. But obviously some of you guys probably got some really good players too that you like your matchup on a 50-50 ball. And this is a potential changeup, right? So you throw this, you start killing a team with this. And then next thing you know, you're getting press coverage and they're taking it away, right? So now you might call hopped out and you go, oh crap, we're going to get off that. We're going to throw the field and they play. And I don't like that matchup as much per se. That you may be able to have this change up into it, right? This is another case here, right? We can see the protection of it. We're getting will turn into 7-man pro. That running back will say in, stay, block that. He cuts obviously the field pressure to it. But this is obviously we don't get the slam flat to the field. Here's another one to it, right? Call hot peel, boundary press, one-on-one. Really great player making a great play. But obviously I think this could potentially also be another changeup for you guys here as well, right? So if you start banging the boundary hitch and getting a lot of free access and great completions and you're moving the sticks, they might just come out and that's their changeup, right? The defense is gonna adjust, right? Come play press coverage maybe. And if you like your matchup and your boundary receiver, this might be it. If it's not, you tell your quarterback, hey, you better not throw that hitch into press coverage and just read the field, right? And live to play another down, right? But well, that's all I got, Coach. This is my contact information. This is obviously my personal cell and my Twitter. Obviously, like I mentioned, this is a kind of a concept that I don't see a lot of people talk about online, and I hope that it was something that someone was able to get something away from.
I appreciate that, Coach. I mean, I love it. If you want to go ahead and stop sharing the screen, I sent pictures to my head coach because we do a lot of similar stuff like that with our flood. And we straight up we slide away from where he's gonna be booting. We'll peek the boundary and we'll roll out. And so I was like sending him pictures of y'all's variations. And he was like, dude, I love it. So he's like, when's the video going to be out? So I love it. It's it's a good change up. I think it's a lot of value to some people that do run a lot of boot, or they maybe sprint out like you were talking about. Maybe they sprint out to their field concept. Maybe give them something a little think about, right? But like I said, I thought it was fantastic. One thing, and you can watch it on the film, but just answer the question real quick. Yeah. Just asking, do you spin out, reverse out with the quarterback, or does he just push off his foot and then kind of sprint out?
So obviously it's a little bit of I know it's kind of a preference thing for him. I'm to be honest with you, I'm not really sure what Coach Sokol teaches them exactly. But I feel like it's more of a kind of I want them to kind of do that quick little spin because I think that maybe helps times up the field concept a little bit more to it because I think our receivers do a pretty good job of tempo and we've had some guys who run that concept a lot for us over the last 3 to 4 years, especially that they understand that if we call hop tout versus if we just call 2x2 tout, they understand the tempo of the routes change a little bit, right? So I think the kind of the semi-spin helps the timing of the field concept kind of come alive, especially on the tout concept for sure. So
yeah, and I like to the field concept where they're pushing the 12 and they're getting back to the sidelines. That's really like scramble drill right there too. So yeah, you're kind of getting two things in one, kind of teaching those guys exactly what you need to look for. But Coach, I really do appreciate you doing this video for us. And guys, if anybody wants to hit up Coach, just rewind to the end of his presentation and he's got all this information there. Definitely hit him up. and you can ask him any questions that you have. But Coach, anything else you want to say for the folks before we let you go?
Yeah, biggest thing, right? So we, like I mentioned, we recruit nationally. The biggest thing is we're looking for guys that are passionate about engineering and that want to play college football and, be able to get a world-class engineering degree and play championship level football. And we believe we have that type of product here at Rose-Hulman. And I really appreciate you letting me be on here, Coach, obviously to promote, myself, but also promote the institution that allows me to get to do what I love to do. So.
Yes, sir, Coach. Well, I appreciate you. And this will probably be out next week. So I'll be looking forward and really do appreciate you.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate you, Coach.